Right. Hi, folks. My name is Teacher Joko, and I am an IELTS instructor and English teacher and academic coordinator at a school in Myanmar called Edulink. And I've been doing this for a few years now. With these presentations, what I hope to do is start off by showing you a few things that are common problems that I find in other papers, and you might be doing them. There are certain weaknesses to the approach that many take that they may not even realize they're doing the wrong thing in order to achieve a Band 7 or Band 8 or 9 score on the IELTS writing test. My biggest concern, or perhaps the most value, can be found from people who are scoring a 6 or a 6.5 in their writing tasks, but are getting higher scores, 7, 8, 9s in their other skills, like reading and listening, because many of you are following the advice that has been developed in your own countries to help people who are at a 5 get to a 6. If you can get to a 6, you can do a lot in terms of international schooling internationally. But if you need a 7 or an 8, then following the type of advice that you hear most commonly is not for you. It's for the common scorer. 5 to 6 is different than 6 to 7, and what you need to do. And I've called this particular presentation, It Happens. Deal with it, because the writer takes a situation, the premise, and decides to discuss whether or not this happens or does not happen. Let's take a look at our question. It's a discuss both views question. No, not that one. What do I hit? Oh, I have to hit it here. Yeah, I'm already sharing it. Maybe get that out of here. Okay, so here is the question. Many people prefer to stay in the same type of work all their life, whereas others prefer to change the type of work. What? Okay. Discuss both the views and give your opinion. Now, this is a paraphrasing of another question. There's some problems in the writing of the question itself. Give reasons for your answers and include any. That part was not in what was shared with us at the IELTS Tips and Tricks group on Facebook, the largest such group on Facebook, where we give you honest feedback, like we do at Edulink. I'm not getting paid for this, folks. I do this on my free time, and this is not monetized or anything like that. Anyway, let's take a look at what she wrote. When I do marking, I use a color code to indicate which of the 4 band descriptors my comment is going to be on. I won't go through it too quickly, I'll go through it quickly. Orange is task response. Blue is cohesion and coherence. Yellow is lexical resources. And green is grammar, range, and accuracy. No, there's 1 green on the first 2 paragraphs. This is just the first 2 paragraphs. So you got that going for you to start. Now, you don't always choose the best grammar, but not a lot of grammar mistakes. I think it's very useful to listen to what an essay sounds like, because that can tip you off if you've got run-on sentences and such. So let me play.
The same profession is often followed by many individuals, while others choose to switch their fields. This essay will discuss both views and share my support for the latter view and explain why do these people change their career paths.
Alright, so hi. Same profession is often followed by many individuals. Okay, what is that profession? The same profession is followed by many individuals. It sounds like you're saying that, no, many people do a particular job. Well, yeah, but that's not what you meant to say. While others choose to switch their fields. Not a good paraphrasing, and you need, I hate to say this, because I'm so much against the incorrectly used introductory sentence. Ones that say, whether or not people change their job or change their careers throughout their lives has become one of the burning issues of the day. Don't do that. But you need something to introduce the topic here in this particular instance before jumping straight into the views. You know, a rhetorical question, maybe not the best way, but certainly a way to frame it in a larger scale, perhaps. And we face many choices, or people. The modern worker has a lot of choices to make. One of these does not happen often, but is the option of resetting your career at some point down the career path. But anyway, something that introduces the idea of changing careers. Okay? But here we just have the two views. This essay will discuss both views. The instructions say, discuss both views. And you say, okay, I will discuss both views. No, that's you don't want to repeat words from the questions like that. And share my support for the latter view, which is others. See, others choose to switch their fields. Is that a view? No, it's a phenomenon. It's something that happens. Okay? And explain, why do these people change their career paths? I'm sure you know that we don't use the auxiliary verb do in a positive statement unless we're trying to emphasize the words that follow it. And really only that in spoken English, really. Why do these people change their career paths? No, that's question. Why do people? Explain why these people change their career paths. Good vocabulary with career paths, that's good. But you have that awkward opening. The same profession is often followed by many individuals. It doesn't relate to the idea of staying inside or doing the same type of work over your entire career. Admittedly. Now, I think that the introduction, the switch between the introduction and the first body paragraph is one of the opportunities to show some advanced cohesion. Okay? However you end your introduction, begin. This, admittedly, is not something that you use when just talking about facts. Okay? Admittedly, people often stick to the same type of job throughout their career. There's no admitting to that. It's a fact. It's not. Here's the whole point of the mistake. Here's the idea. What you're doing is you are thinking that the question is, do people change their careers, or do they always stay in the same career? That's not the question. Obviously, there's some of both. The ideas behind each, the motivations behind each way of doing it is at question. Not whether or not it happens. It happens. People stick to the same type of job. People change jobs. Both of these things happen. So you can't admit to something like that. And you do this later, and we'll see. People because they believe that they are well versed in that field. How about because they are well versed in that field? They are. All right. Since they. Let's continue with the voice.
And expertise, they would prefer not to switch their core field. To illustrate, after so many years of studying, why would a doctor who has done specialization in heart surgeries would want to change his/her field? All the efforts and energy that he or she has put into earning the degree and experience would be wasted. However, if individuals want to follow their passion, switching a job at any cost is not a big deal.
I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay. I sleep all night and I work all day. I chop down trees, I skip and jump. I like to press wildflowers on Okay, so, no, a brain surgeon would not want to become a lumberjack. Stick to is too informal for IELTS. Since they have learned, progressed, and gained valuable experience and expertise. What's the difference between experience and expertise? They would prefer not to switch their core field. So, I think what really gets me on this paragraph is your example, which to illustrate, for so many years, heart surgeons. This is not about heart surgeons. This is about, I always think about these guys that I see, diminishingly so, and even less so lately. Now that I live in Asia, they exist, but even back in the United States, the shoe repairman. Okay? Nowadays, people don't usually get their shoes repaired. People go and they buy new shoes when they need shoes. However, 100 years ago, they're saying, or the watch repairman. Right? Watches are built so much more reliably these days that they don't need repair, and they're electronic, and there's no little gears and things that have to be. But yet, there is still people who hang on to that career of watch repairman or shoe repairman, or the advance of technology has really given us these instances of stubborn careers. How obviously, if you can't make a living doing it, you're not going to do it. But I think that in the I myself went from being a salesman, a client salesman, to a teacher. From circumstances, there were third parties involved, but really the career that I was in was on the decline because people did much more shopping online instead of going to stores. And so I changed careers. I could have stubbornly stayed. Why would I do that? Because I love it. I love selling appliances. I'm an expert at it. These are good points. And they would be much better illustrated if you had a better example than heart surgeon. I want to be a lumberjack, the heart surgeon said one day, and went off into the forest and followed his dream. Which brings me to the last part of this paragraph. However, if individuals want to follow their passions, it's not a big deal. But first of all, switching a job at any cost doesn't get the idea across that you want. Is not a big deal. Blue is also for register, or the level of formality. No big deal. Big deal is far too informal for IELTS. And you've put this sentence in the wrong place. It needs to begin, I believe, the next paragraph. But it doesn't fit with the start.
Often change their career paths due to various circumstances that they have been through.
Okay, so, did I catch any of that? Well, I'm not going to have it read again. Just start from the top. Others, myself included, are of the opinion that individuals often struggle. Hey, what you are presenting is the idea that individuals change their careers, that it happens. Well, yes, it happens. That's not the position. That's not the view. The view is that it's okay to do this. It's okay to do this. Not foolish. Not whether or not it happens. Right? Rather than sticking to, once again, stick to an uninteresting or boring. It would be. Now, will would fit better here. Or it is better. It is better for a person to follow what suits them. Well, of course, they should do that from the start. For instance, many employees, no, not that one's the correct word there, many workers switch their field. You're using that word field too much. In the U.S., after working in the study domain, no idea what you mean there? If you mean academia, like working as a professor, yeah, academia, the study domain is not a word that we use for that. And why are you picking on them? Why are you saying them in particular? You just said, okay. Semicolon. Why? Because now I'm confused. Is it the BBC that says what happens in the U.S.? Why would the British Broadcasting Company have... This is your example. What? Huh? Okay. But no. According to the BBC, they're going to tell us why it happens, which is just sort of a common sense answer. You don't need the BBC to say why people stress. And really, and it's probably not it. It's probably more an instance of like what happened to me, which is a career becomes outdated or on the decline due to technological change. They follow. Who are they? The BBC? Okay. They leave their jobs and look for other options that appeal to them. Who are they? Semicolon. Another semicolon. Semicolons are very rare in English. We don't use them much. You don't get bonus points for using them. It's not a complex. It doesn't make a sentence more grammatically different type of sentence. Therefore, switching careers is often observed across the globe. Of course it is. That's not the point. Okay. So, switch their field, switching career, switch, change, pass, okay, let's switch too much in here. So, we believe that people change their jobs because of circumstances. We believe, not circumstances, but because they're shitty jobs. And therefore, people change jobs. There's really nothing in this paragraph. In conclusion, although it is not an option, of course it is, for many people to keep changing their fields, nowhere in this essay does it talk about doing it more than once. I wholeheartedly believe that looking for the best option is always before. Now, here's another. The main mistake in this essay is that you argue whether or not the topic happens. And it does happen. That's not the question. Another thing is when candidates take language that they've been taught to use in task 2 for other types of questions. Now, what type of question would you include the line, I wholeheartedly believe? To what extent do you agree or disagree? That's where this type of sentence belongs. In a discuss your own view, your own opinion, you don't have to do this. You don't have to say, I wholeheartedly agree. Looking for the best option. Well, of course. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to look for the worst option. Yeah. I'll just take the first thing that comes to me. Why not? Is the utmost priority. Is of utmost priority. Okay, well that's it. There's no other slides right yet. So you write fairly well, but you're a perfect person, or you're just the type of IELTS writer that I talk about frequently, where taking the structures of teaching services that you followed because your friends followed or whatever reason, and using, I can point them out to you. Okay? I wholeheartedly believe. A semicolon. What? Why are you using it? For instance, for example, here, near the second half of the paragraph. That is to say, okay, others, myself included. These are just total signs that you've been reading and listening to. I don't know who it is specifically, but many of the mainstream pundits, gurus, suggest you follow this format. And it's perfectly good advice for someone who's at a 5.0 and wants to get to a 6.0. Yes, these little transition markers in the paragraph construction are what you think that you need to do to get a good mark. Just do that. No, you got to have ideas. You got to support your ideas if you want to get a 7 or an 8. This is IELTS 6 right here, because there's nothing to it. There's no well-developed ideas. Okay, it's just you're just throwing in uninteresting and stressful dead-end jobs. And then you make obvious statements like it would be better if they did what their passion was. Why didn't they do that from the beginning? And it doesn't matter what type of example I use. I'll use a heart surgeon. Why should they change careers? Well, of course not. The content, when you're going to get to the higher bands, the content is more important than the structure. Because structure will get you to a 6.5. To get past that, you need good content. And you didn't really think about this question because you misidentified what it was about. Not whether or not these things happen, but whether or not the ideas behind those viewpoints are of merit. Okay, I'm sure you'll never make this mistake again. So good luck to you, whoever this is. Thing is, I did this review like 3 days ago and I forgot to make a video out of it, so that's where this is coming from. 25 minutes.